So I get asked a lot how to deal with frizzy hair. We need to think about what the actual act of the hair frizzing is. If you look at a hair strand under a microscope, you see one long strand, but then you also see on top of the strand there are these little scales laying down, kind of like a pipe cleaner or a pine cone. And what happens with frizz is something happens to make those scales stand straight out. So sometimes it's a result of humidity, meaning that the hairs become overplumped with water, therefore making those scales stand out. Another reason for frizz is just damaged, processed, dry hair. So the way to combat that would be to give it as much moisture and as much protein as you can, and to keep it really consistently moisturized. Another good way to get rid of frizz is to get more regular haircuts. The healthier your hair is, the less frizzy it's going to be. One thing that I always talk to people about with frizz is you want to lay down those scales on the hair. So you want to be sure that everything that you do from a styling point of view is doing that. So when you're combing your hair, you want to comb it straight down. When you're adding your product, you want to rake it through straight down. When you're drying your hair, you want to dry it in the direction of the hair. You want to avoid going against the direction of the hair. So to me, that means avoiding the scrunch motion at all. What that's doing is it's going in the opposite direction of the hair, and so it's disturbing the cuticle on the outside. Another thing to consider is to consider your product that you're using. Are you using something that has enough of a smoothness factor, or is it mainly for hold? So you need to find the proper balance for yourself, and this is something that we all have to do within our curly hair, is find a good balance of hold and conditioning, smoothing properties. So if you're experiencing a lot of frizz, you might be too focused on the hold and not focused enough on the smoothing. You also might need an additional smoothing product, something that maybe has a very light silicone base to it or is a nourishing oil. I will say this though, if you do have frizzy hair, you can't just tip that scale and only use things that are conditioning. You still need that element of hold, otherwise you're never going to get control of your frizz. A couple of other things that you can do to control your frizz would be to try a twisting method to setting your hair. So while your hair is still wet, going through and twisting the hair will help to redistribute the product all the way to the tip of the hair and also to smooth it all the way down too. Also, you might want to consider changing your method of drying your hair. If your hair is frizzy and you are air drying it, try a diffuser. If your hair is frizzy and you're diffusing it, try air drying it and see if one method doesn't work better for you than the other. But lastly, we all have a little bit of frizz. Everybody, even women with completely straight hair, have a little bit of frizz. So don't agonize the small things. Chances are you might be the only one that can see it anyway. So those are my tips on how to deal with frizzy hair.